Hi, friends, and thanks for coming for another lesson. So, today we're going to be studying the difference between fall and evergreen trees. So, we have two trees here. We have a maple tree, which has all of its leaves changing color, and you can even see some of the leaves have fallen onto the ground, right? That's our fall tree. And you look at it, you're like, oh, you think of fall, right? Because it's changing, it's got all those beautiful colors. The other tree here is called an evergreen tree. Evergreen, which means that it doesn't lose its leaves. It stays green all year round. And you can even see in the background there are some trees that have lost their leaves, right, during the winter. All right, so what is an evergreen tree? We were just talking about an evergreen tree, right? Being a tree that doesn't lose its leaves, right? So our fall tree, our maple tree will soon have no leaves in the winter, but the evergreen stays green all through the winter time. Some other things that the evergreen tree has are pine cones, and oh, there's little pine cones that you can see too, little itty bitty ones there. So we have pine cones on evergreen trees. They're called pine trees. The pine trees have them. And you can see that they have these different kinds of leaves, right? And they have these little more pointy leaves. And we're gonna keep looking at that. And they grow tall. So that's another thing that's kind of neat to see. You see how those evergreen trees are growing tall, big and tall. So those are some neat things. And we're going to go into those more and more as we learn the difference between a fall tree, or we're using a maple tree today, and an evergreen tree or a pine tree. We're going to be looking at a pine tree. So let's look at the leaves of the tree. So the leaves of the maple tree, it's got a special word for this kind of tree, the tree that loses its leaves and grows leaves back in the spring and has flowers and things like that. It's called deciduous. Can you say deciduous? Deciduous. Deciduous. Yes, that's the kind of tree that has all those changing leaves. And then the other kind of tree is called an evergreen tree, right? So we have an evergreen tree, which is always green, always keeps its leaves. And then the other kind of tree is called deciduous. Very good, guys. Okay, so here is the leaf, and it's kind of flat, like a piece of paper. But on the evergreen, just like I said, they have these needles instead of kind of more of those like broad, flat leaves. So that's kind of a way that you can tell the difference. Something else you can see that's different are the seeds. The seeds. So on our maple tree, we're going to have these lovely seeds that are all bunched together that will fall. But the evergreen tree will have these pine cones, and in the pine cones are the seeds for the pine tree. So that's one of the differences between the deciduous, right? And the evergreen, Okay, so let's do one more difference between them so we can see. So one of the differences between the deciduous and the evergreen is how they grow. So if you can see, our deciduous maple tree has these leaves that come out, and they kind of like go out like this, and it goes up, but it kind of fans out, right? Now the evergreen will grow very tall. So most evergreens can grow taller than a deciduous or maple or these kinds of trees. And there are even places you can go where the trees are so big. I don't know if you can see the man at the bottom, but they're so big that you can just walk through them. So those are kind of the differences that I saw that I thought would be neat to share. Thank you so much for coming to learn about evergreens and deciduous, our fall trees with the beautiful colors, and then our evergreens with the leaves that they don't change, and they don't fall off other than to replace the leaves. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming, and I hope you had a nice time learning about the trees today. And we'll do another lesson soon, okay? I'll see you another time. Bye.